If you've always wanted to be a content creator, but you think it's too saturated, you think there's too many people already doing it, and you keep postponing on posting that one video that you filmed last week, or those 10 videos that you have saved up in your drafts, then say no more, because I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to actually become a content creator in 2024. No BS. Like, we are getting down straight to the step-by-step things you need to do and the motivation that you need to make your dreams come true. Hi, I'm Genevieve, and I do videos on becoming your best self in 2024, so make sure to follow along and subscribe to my channel for more. So first of all, I have been doing content for over 4 years now, and I've compiled a list of tips that I think will be so helpful to anyone that's starting off, because I always get questions on this, especially on my Instagram. So the first one is to find your niche. What are the 3 pillars that you want to build your brand around? I don't think a niche necessarily has to be one type of video. I think we've seen so many get ready with me's and people grow in doing very focused types of contents. Like, I've seen a ton of creators on Instagram grow through get ready with me's, as well as recipe videos, for example, like if they're more foodies and nutrition people. Content like that does really well, but you have to be doing one type of content. So if you see yourself doing more than that, I think that you should have a completely different strategy when it comes to social media. Finding your niche. So what is it that you want to talk about? Breaking it down so you have a clear vision of what you had in mind. That is step number 1. Step number 2 is to choose your platforms. What platforms do you realistically see yourself starting on, and what do you think you can actually achieve consistency on? So whether it's starting on Instagram only or TikTok only, picking one of these platforms or both and staying consistent to a target. So think about how much content you want to have planned before you start posting. Do I want to post 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week? As a creator, like, I personally do post 5 times a week, but I don't think that's sustainable for all creators. And I don't think it should be so go, go, go. There is also something to be said about pushing out valuable content over quantity. If that's something you want to focus on that, and don't think it's going to set you up for failure at all. I think setting to a goal and making sure that Instagram or TikTok sees you consistently reaching that is the first step to kind of gaining that consistency and testing your audience a little bit more. The third thing you're going to want to do is start planning out your content. I recently started using ChatGPT, and I think there is so much more to be said about the capabilities of ChatGPT and how it can help you in saving way more time. Like, literally typing in, give me content ideas for 30 days on TikTok, and picking out what you like from it. We spend so much time sometimes brainstorming the content that I've realized, like, there's an easier way to do this. Work smarter, not harder, guys. I think that's something we need to take away into 2024. Like, so many people are doing the most and maybe are less qualified than you. They might have less skills than you. Like, they're working efficiently, they're working smart, and they're achieving their goals. So don't underestimate the power of, like, just pulling inspiration and ideas from other sources and using that in your own way. The next step, I would say, is to push out quality content. What I mean by this is getting the basic high quality tools that you need to start filming. So I personally like having a tripod. I have a light to help brighten it up, especially when it gets dark in my home. I do have a camera when I film on YouTube, but obviously a phone camera or iPhone is good enough. So sometimes even using the back camera can be really good. I've seen a lot of videos of people saying you don't need mics, and I kind of agree with this, but if you do want a mic, I think that can also work for some people. That would be like the content creator basic starter kit. So investing in these materials, because it does truly make a difference when people can see that something is well produced, well edited, and that there's effort behind it. I've also seen a lot of creators use apps like CapCut. I personally love CapCut, but you can also add sound effects, text, and make it a little bit more dynamic and engaging. A lot of creators will do like multiple cuts and add in B-roll content, B-roll footage into the video. So it's constantly moving, a little bit more dynamic, keeps the audience engaged. So that brings me to the next one, is like, within quality content is making sure your content is engaging. So what do I mean by this? When you first start building a page, no one knows who you are. No one cares, transparently. So you're going to want to do something to add value, but also pull in the audience a little bit more. So what kind of information am I feeding you that you would actually want to save? For Instagram content, I like to think about it this way. If you're more of like aesthetic fashion content, which was a lot of what I started to do, I would actually say that you want to focus on building like savable content that, you know, people will see this and they'll be like, oh, I want to save this so I can recreate this or save this outfit for the future. Sometimes when we post things that are too personal to our stuff, people just like move away from it. Because if I saw some random person, honestly, that I saw on my social media feed talking about her life and I had no idea who she was, I would probably skip through it. Once you have built that audience, however, I think that's when creators really get successful in sharing more about their personal lives, because their audience starts to actually care and see them as a real person and not someone who's trying to be an influencer. The next tip I would say is to start engaging and building a community, whether it's finding other creators who live in your city. Like you can even search Toronto creators or Toronto fashion, for example, depending on what your niche is. Start following, supporting, liking some of the content of these creators that you genuinely want to connect with. And who knows, this could end up in a coffee chat, or you guys meeting in person, you guys meeting at an in-person event. But I think it's important to show the apps that you're actively engaging on the apps and like chatting with other creators on the platform and adding value to the space. That's a way that you can also attract these people to potentially come visit your page, see what kind of content you're sharing, and it kind of builds that two-way stream of of engagement and communication on these platforms. A lot of the people that I engage with on my platforms, for example, are a lot of creators, because I like supporting their content and seeing what they're up to, and they kind of just start doing the same because we almost become like virtual friends. Okay, the next one are basics to starting to monetize and get inbound requests from brands. This one, I'm going to give you a couple key tips. The first one is to make sure your email is easily accessible in your bio. The reason being is because a lot of agencies will copy and paste emails from the bio. So if you don't have this in the bio, it's going to be harder for them to access your contact info and get your details. You're also going to make sure to optimize this bio to have your location, so your main big city, as well as what your key niches are. So I like to put your 3 pillars in the bio of whatever page. This makes it a lot more searchable on platforms, because if you can imagine, there's a ton of creators, brands, and agencies are going through. So having this easily accessible in the bio can be a great way to filter for creators. I used to work at an influencer marketing company, and we would have a really hard time finding people like specifically like who were Chinese or, like a very specific ethnicity. So sometimes this does help to add your background in here if you're looking for more specific cultural campaigns, for example. A lot of the platforms will also search for your niches, and they will pull this from your bio. So if you want to work with finance brands or you want to work with fashion brands, I think start having these keywords in your bio can be really helpful. On the topic of keywords, adding hashtags or keywords in the captions of your posts and optimizing these a little bit more to make the post a bit more searchable can also really help drive more search recommendations to your page. The next one is understanding your analytics. So once you've gone through a week of posting, for example, I want you to go back and look at each of those posts and analyze the metrics. So how many saves did you get? How many shares? How many comments? What kinds of content seems to be performing well versus what isn't performing as well? It's so important to continuously look back on this and keep improving. Being open to changing the way that we're building our content can be such a great way to start, because honestly, I think that once you reach that video or like that type of content that really just clicks for you, you're going to be on a roll. I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'm constantly reinventing myself on socials, and that is one of my goals for 2024. The last topic to becoming a content creator in 2024 is a little bit on brand partnerships. And I'm going to talk about this in another video, but I just want to tell you a few key things on top of having the email that you can start doing to build a genuine connection and have brands start reaching out to you. The first thing is to organically tag brands that you love or that you already use in your current routine. So how can you drive more traffic and allow these brands to see you? It's so easy. You can literally tag them. Another thing you can do is even DM them. If you want to send email pitches or outbound templates, this is another way to start getting in their radar and seeing if they have any opportunities for the year ahead. I would also make sure to have your media kit and rates set aside. So if you are like starting to grow and you want to start charging for content and usage, then make sure you have a portfolio where you can showcase the work that you have to offer, what your engagement looks like, your stats, and what kinds of packages and value you can offer to brands that you want to work with. Another thing you can do is also DM brands to get their emails, and you can kind of send them a DM along the lines of like, hey, like I love your brand and I'm doing this in the winter, for example. Like I would love to get an email to reach out to share more details. I would love to see if you have an email I can reach out to share more details on this opportunity or something like that. And a lot of brands are actually receptive and they will email you back with an email with the brand partnership team. So that's a great way to start getting your foot in the door and reaching out to people. And the last tip is to follow and find local agencies. So this is something just as easy as doing a Google search, finding PR agencies or ad agencies and seeing what kind of clients they have and following them on Instagram, being a bit more active, and hopefully you can get added to their PR list or event lists to be invited to future events. My last tip is to stay persistent and be patient. Content isn't something that happens overnight. Yes, you can go viral overnight, but you've already skipped the community building aspect, which is still going to take time, and you're going to have to start that the same way someone who's starting a new account is starting that. So be patient. I think whatever content you're putting out there, if you are authentic and confident about learning and being open to meeting new people, being open to trying new things, something is going to work for you. And just do not give up. Be consistent and focus on providing value to your audience consistently and thinking about content in the eyes of you as a viewer. So I'm going to put myself constantly in 2024 as someone who is scrolling my feed. Like, is this something I would actually want to watch, or is this something I would actually care about? Rewatch that video, figure out how you can get to your audience and try new things. Don't give up, guys. This is the beginning of 2024, so I know you got it in you to start with your content journeys and your content goals. If you want to see how my content journey also comes along, then make sure to subscribe to my channel to keep up, and I'll be sharing more videos like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope this helped, and good luck on slaying your content era.